For James and his wife, Lisa, this house was supposed to be their dream home, a quiet, suburban escape after years of hard work. The neighborhood seemed perfect: tree-lined streets, friendly neighbors, and a backyard big enough for weekend barbecues. They had spent months searching for the perfect place, and now, standing in their new home, they felt like they had finally found it. But their excitement didn't last long. It started just 3 days after moving in. James was unpacking boxes in the garage when a sharp, authoritative knock echoed through the house. Lisa, who had been setting up the kitchen, peeked through the window. "There's a lady outside. Looks serious." James wiped his hands on his jeans and opened the door. A woman in her mid-50s stood on their porch, arms crossed, lips pursed, exuding the unmistakable energy of someone who loved being in charge. "Hi, I'm Patricia, but most people here call me Karen." She forced a tight smile, but there was nothing friendly about it. "I'm the president of the HOA, and I wanted to personally welcome you and go over some of the neighborhood rules." James blinked. "HOA?" That was strange. When they bought the house, their real estate agent specifically mentioned that there wasn't a homeowners association. "I didn't realize this neighborhood had an HOA," James said carefully. Karen handed over a thick packet of printed rules, tapping her long nails against the cover. "Oh, it does. It's just not one of those big official ones. But we maintain order here." Lisa stepped beside James, scanning the first few pages. $75 fines for minor infractions, restrictions on holiday decorations, even a rule about how many plants were allowed on the front porch. "I noticed you left your trash cans out past 6 p.m. yesterday. That's a violation." Karen's tone was clipped, like she had been waiting for an opportunity to scold them. James exchanged a confused glance with Lisa. Sorry, but I don't think we're legally part of this HOA." Karen's fake smile didn't waver, but her eyes darkened. "Oh, everyone here is part of it. Some people just don't realize it at first. It's a matter of community standards." Lisa hesitated, then turned to James. "We'll take a look and let you know." Karen held her smile for a moment longer, then gave a curt nod. "Make sure you do. We like to keep things harmonious." The moment she walked away, Lisa shut the door and exhaled. "Okay, that was weird." James flipped through the packet. It looked official, watermarked pages, legal jargon. But something about it felt off. "We should call the real estate agent. If there's an HOA, it should have been disclosed." Lisa nodded. "And if it's not real? What then?" James set the papers on the counter and sighed. "Then we might have a problem." They had no idea just how big of a nightmare was waiting for them. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to hit that like button, share it with friends, and subscribe for more awesome content. And while you're at it, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. All right, let's keep going. James sat at the kitchen table, flipping through the stack of rules Karen had dropped off. The more he read, the more ridiculous it got. Fines for leaving a porch light on past midnight. Restrictions on the height of garden fences. Even rules about what kind of curtains were allowed in front-facing windows. Lisa stood by the counter, arms crossed. "There's no way this is legit. We would have known about it before buying." James nodded. "Exactly. I'm calling the real estate agent." The phone rang twice before a cheerful voice answered. "Oh, hey, James. Settling in okay?" James wasted no time. "Yeah, mostly. Quick question. Does this neighborhood have a homeowners association?" A brief pause. Then, "Nope. That's actually one of the big selling points. No HOA drama." James felt a knot tighten in his stomach. "You're sure? Because someone just showed up claiming to be the president." The agent laughed. "I promise. If there was an HOA, you'd be paying dues and it would be in your closing paperwork." James hung up, staring at Lisa. "It's fake." Lisa let out a breath. "So what now?" Just ignore it? James was about to agree when the doorbell rang again. A familiar sense of unease crept up his spine. No way. Lisa peeked through the window. You've got to be kidding me. Karen was standing at the door again, her expression unreadable, yet somehow smug. James opened the door but didn't invite her in. I hope you had time to review the rules, she said smoothly. James walked onto the porch, arms crossed. Actually, I did. And I also talked to my real estate agent. He kept his voice calm but firm. There is no HOA here. Karen's expression didn't change, but there was a flicker of something in her eyes. Surprise, maybe even anger. Oh, James, she sighed, shaking her head. I was hoping we wouldn't have to go down this road. Lisa frowned. What road? Karen took a step closer, lowering her voice. Look, I know some people like to be difficult, but this community has expectations. If you refuse to comply, well... She pulled an official-looking envelope from her purse and handed it over. You'll be hearing from our legal team. James ripped it open. Inside was a notice of violation, demanding a $250 fine for non-compliance with community standards. Lisa scoffed. This is a joke, right? You don't have the authority to fine us? Karen's smile never faltered. I wouldn't be so sure. She turned and walked away, leaving them standing there. Inside, James tossed the phony violation on the table. She's bluffing, he muttered, but there was something unsettling about the way she said it. Lisa sighed, rubbing her temples. Then why does she seem so confident? That was a good question. The next morning they woke up to a bright red sticker slapped onto their front door. Final notice. Immediate action required. Lisa ripped it off, shaking her head. She's not letting this go, is she? James exhaled sharply. Looks like we're in for a fight. And this time Karen wasn't just playing games, she was escalating. James stared at the bright red sticker in his hands, his jaw tightening. Final notice, immediate action required. It was written in bold, aggressive letters, like some kind of official government warning. But the bottom was stamped with nothing more than a cheap, generic community standards logo. Lisa exhaled sharply beside him. This is getting out of hand. What's next? Fake eviction notices? James wouldn't have been surprised. Just then, a white envelope peeked out from their mailbox, sticking out like a sore thumb. With a sinking feeling, he grabbed it and tore it open. Dear homeowner, you are in direct violation of the agreed-upon community regulations. Failure to comply will result in further action, including but not limited to property liens, legal escalation, and potential eviction proceedings. Sincerely, Karen Reynolds, President, Community Standards Board. James clenched his teeth. She actually thinks she can scare us with this nonsense. Lisa snatched the letter and scanned it. No letterhead, no attorney's name, just Karen trying to act like a big shot. James threw the notice onto the counter. She's not just trying to scare us. She's trying to wear us down. And it wasn't stopping there. Over the next week, the pressure intensified. Their next-door neighbor, Mr. Davies, an elderly man who always waved at them, suddenly started avoiding eye contact. When James tried to make small talk, the old man simply muttered, "Just follow the rules, son," and shuffled away. Lisa sighed. They think she's real. They actually believe this is a real HOA. Then came the signs. One by one, houses in the neighborhood started displaying small white signs in their yards. Proud HOA member? Lisa scoffed. She's rallying the whole neighborhood. James wasn't sure whether to be angry or impressed. Karen wasn't just some overzealous busybody. She was organizing an entire fake movement. Then the real harassment began. James came home one afternoon to find his trash cans missing. After checking the security camera footage, his suspicions were confirmed. A group of men had taken them in broad daylight. Lisa's car tires mysteriously started losing air overnight. An anonymous letter arrived in their mailbox. Just one sentence, scrawled across a piece of paper. Bad neighbors aren't welcome here. That night, James checked their home security cameras. The footage made his stomach drop. At 3 a.m., a figure crept up their driveway, taped another violation notice to their door, and then quickly disappeared into the night. Lisa covered her mouth. "Are you kidding me? She's doing this in the middle of the night?" James rewound the footage, and there she was. Karen, in a hoodie, sneaking around like some HOA ninja. "That's it," James muttered, standing up. "She wants a fight? Let's give her one." The next morning, James marched straight to Karen's house. He knocked, firm but controlled. A few seconds later, the door opened, and Karen stood there, her usual artificial smile plastered on her face. "James! What a surprise!" she said, her tone dripping with mock innocence. James held up one of the bogus notices. "This needs to stop. Now." Karen let out a soft, condescending chuckle. "I'm only enforcing the rules." James narrowed his eyes. "There are no rules. There is no HOA. And if you don't stop, I'll take legal action." Karen's expression darkened. For the first time, her mask cracked. "Oh, James, you really don't understand how things work around here, do you?" she said, voice eerily calm. "This neighborhood thrives on order. And people who disrupt that," she leaned in slightly, "they don't last long." James stared at her, unblinking. "Is that a threat?" Karen simply smiled. "A warning." James turned and walked away, heart pounding. Lisa met him at the door. "Well?" James clenched his jaw. "She's not backing down. But neither are we." This wasn't just some bored suburban tyrant on a power trip anymore. This was war. James sat at his desk. A mountain of fake violation notices spread in front of him. Every single one was an attempt to intimidate him. Bold fonts, legal-sounding, threats, fines that had zero legitimacy. Lisa leaned over his shoulder, flipping through them. "She's not just pretending to run an HOA. She's running a full-blown scam." James nodded, eyes narrowing. "And I'm going to prove it." James grabbed his laptop and started digging. First, he checked county records. The real HOA, if there had ever been one, should have been registered somewhere. But after an hour of searching, it was clear. No official HOA existed for their neighborhood. Lisa raised an eyebrow. "So Karen just made one up?" James exhaled. "Seems that way. But I need more than just a missing document. I need proof that she's been enforcing fake rules and collecting money from people." That's when James got an idea. He pulled up community forums and Facebook groups for their neighborhood. Then he posted a simple question. "Has anyone else received HOA violation notices or been asked to pay fees?" Asking for legal reasons. Within minutes, his inbox exploded. A private message popped up from an older woman named Margaret Thompson. "Margaret, I've been paying her for years. She said the HOA fees were required to maintain the neighborhood. I thought it was real." Then another, Tom R. "Wait, the HOA isn't real? I've given her over $3,000 in violation fines over the past 2 years. She even threatened to sue me once." And another, Monica P. "I used to live in that neighborhood. I moved because of her. She told me if I didn't pay up, I'd lose my house." James sat back, stunned. Karen wasn't just being a neighborhood tyrant. She was stealing from people. Lisa clenched her fists. "She's been doing this for years. This isn't just some power trip. This is fraud." James knew this was bigger than just standing up to a bully. This was a crime. He compiled everything. The fake notices, the security footage of Karen sneaking onto their property at night, the messages from neighbors who had paid her. Then he made 2 phone calls. First, to a local attorney. "James, I have proof that someone in my neighborhood has been running a fake HOA and collecting illegal payments. What are my options?" The attorney didn't even hesitate. If what you're saying is true, this is fraud, extortion, and possibly even mail fraud if she sent notices through the postal service. You need to report this to the police. James's second call was to the county clerk's office. Clerk: Sir, there is no official homeowners association registered for your neighborhood. If someone is claiming there is, that's illegal. You should absolutely report this. James wasted no time. That evening he walked into the local police station with a folder full of evidence. James placed it on the counter. I'd like to report fraud. The officer raised an eyebrow. What kind? James's lips curled into a smirk. The kind that's about to end someone's little empire. A few days later, James received a call from Detective Harper. Detective Harper: Mr. Evans, I've got to say, this is one of the most bizarre fraud cases I've seen. We looked into your complaint, and you were right. There's no HOA. But here's where it gets interesting. James sat up straight. What do you mean? The detective sighed. Karen Reynolds has been doing this in multiple neighborhoods. She moves in, pretends to be the head of an HOA, and starts collecting fees. When people resist, she threatens them until they either comply or move away. James felt his stomach drop. So she's done this before? Harper: Oh yeah, we checked her history. Different aliases, different addresses, but the same scam. She's collected thousands from unsuspecting homeowners. Lisa's eyes widened. She's a professional scam artist. James exhaled. So? What happens next? The detective's voice was firm. We're moving forward with an investigation. If everything checks out, she's looking at serious charges. James hung up and turned to Lisa. We did it. She's going down. Lisa grinned. And the best part? She has no idea what's coming. For the first time in weeks, James felt like the nightmare was almost over. Karen wasn't backing down. James knew it the moment he saw the envelope taped to his front door. It wasn't one of her usual fake violation notices. This was different. Lisa picked it up, her expression darkening. Oh, she did not just do this. James grabbed the letter and scanned it. Notice of legal action. You are hereby notified that legal action is being pursued against you for defamation, harassment, and refusal to comply with neighborhood regulations. Failure to respond within 14 days will result in further consequences. Sincerely, Karen Reynolds, President, Community Standards Board. Lisa scoffed. Is she serious? She's suing us? James let out a slow exhale. She wants to scare us into backing off, but she's about to regret this. James wasn't just going to sit back and wait. He was going to turn the tables. He immediately called the lawyer he had spoken with earlier. The moment he read the letter, the attorney laughed. This isn't a real lawsuit, she's bluffing. James leaned forward. How do you know? Because no lawyer wrote this. No case number, no court filing. If she actually planned to sue, you'd receive real legal documents, not something she printed off at home. James smirked. So what happens if I call her bluff? She'll either have to actually file a lawsuit, where all her fake HOA scams will come to light, or she'll back down. Either way, you win. Lisa grinned. Let's make her sweat. James took one simple step that changed everything. He posted everything online. The fake HOA letters. The security footage of Karen sneaking onto their property. The messages from neighbors who had paid her. Even the legal notice she had just sent. Then he tagged the local news station. Lisa clapped her hands together. Oh, this is going to be good. Within hours, the post went viral. The comment section exploded. Wait, is this even legal? Someone arrest this woman. She took money from people? That's straight up fraud. OMG, I live in that neighborhood. I thought she was legit. Then came the local reporters. One journalist messaged James directly. We'd love to cover this story. Can you do an on-camera interview? James didn't hesitate. Absolutely. The fallout was instant. Neighbors who once blindly supported Karen suddenly started questioning everything. Mr. Davies, the elderly man who had avoided James earlier, approached him hesitantly. "I had no idea she was lying. I paid her over $1,000 in fees last year." Monica, a mother of two, shook her head. "She told me I had to get approval before painting my house. She even made me pay a fine when I planted the wrong kind of flowers." More and more people started coming forward. The next morning, James woke up to even bigger news. A headline on the local news website read, "Fake HOA Scam Exposed. Local woman under investigation." Lisa nearly spilled her coffee. "Oh, she's done. She is so done." And then came the moment they had been waiting for. That afternoon, Karen stormed up to James's house, rage radiating off of her. "You think this is funny?" she screeched. James crossed his arms. "I think fraud is a crime, and so does the police." Karen's face went pale. "You're lying." James pulled out his phone and played back a voicemail from Detective Harper. "James, just a heads up, we're officially opening a fraud investigation into Karen Reynolds. If she tries to escalate, let her know the law is watching." Karen took one step back, then another, and then she did something neither James nor Lisa expected. She ran. Lisa burst out laughing. "Oh, wow, that's the fastest I've ever seen her." "Move!" James shook his head. "She knows it's over." Within days, Karen's entire scheme fell apart. Neighbors stopped listening to her. Some started demanding refunds for the fake fees they had paid. Others threatened to press charges. And then came the final blow. The real police investigation. Karen vanished overnight. James later learned she had packed up and left town before charges could be filed. Lisa stretched her arms above her head, satisfied. "Well, there goes our neighborhood dictator," James smirked. "And good riddance." For the first time since moving in, the neighborhood finally felt like home. Karen was cornered. Her scam had been exposed, her fake HOA discredited, and her so-called supporters were turning against her. But instead of disappearing quietly, she did what all narcissists do when their power crumbles. She doubled down. It started with another letter, but this one was different. James found it stuffed in his mailbox, the envelope torn and crumpled like it had been shoved in there in a hurry. The handwriting on the front wasn't neat and professional like before. It was messy, rushed, almost frantic. Lisa opened it first. She barely got through the first sentence before shaking her head. "Oh my God, she's lost it." James took the letter and read aloud, "Cease and desist immediately. You have engaged in unlawful defamation, harassment, and targeted attacks against my reputation. Legal action is now officially being prepared against you. If you do not withdraw your accusations, issue a public apology, and compensate me for damages, you will face severe consequences. This is your final warning." Sincerely, Karen Reynolds James let out a low whistle. "She's really threatening me after everything?" Lisa scoffed. "And demanding an apology? Is she delusional?" James folded the letter and tossed it in the trash. "Doesn't matter. She can't bluff her way out of this." But Karen wasn't done. Later that evening, James checked his security cameras. What he saw made his stomach drop. Karen was standing outside their house. Not just passing by, not walking her dog. She was staring, arms crossed, body tense, eyes locked on their front door. For 10 solid minutes, she just stood there. Then, just as suddenly, she turned and walked away. Lisa shivered. "That's not normal. That's a threat." James wasn't taking chances. He called Detective Harper. "Detective, she's harassing us again. And now she's showing up at our house." The detective didn't hesitate. "If she's escalating, we need to move fast." "Do you have the footage?" "Already sent to your email." There was a pause. Then, Detective Harper's tone changed. "All right, James, I'm sending a patrol unit to pay Karen a visit. This ends tonight." An hour later, James and Lisa sat on their couch, watching through the blinds as a police cruiser rolled up to Karen's house. A firm knock echoed through the street. No answer. Another knock. Then Karen yanked open the door, and, for the first time, James saw it. Panic. The officer spoke, calm but firm. "Ms. Reynolds, we need to talk." Karen's voice was high-pitched, defensive. "I didn't do anything wrong. They're harassing me. They're the criminals." The officer held up a stack of printed papers. James recognized them. His emails, the fake notices, the fraud complaints. Undeniable evidence. "Ms. Reynolds, we have documented proof that you've been running a fraudulent HOA, collecting illegal fees, and issuing fake legal threats. We also have video footage of you trespassing on private property at night. You need to come with us." Karen froze. For a moment it looked like she might fight back, but then reality hit. Her shoulders slumped, her hands shook. Lisa exhaled. "She knows it's over." And then the handcuffs clicked into place. James and Lisa stepped outside just in time to see Karen being led to the police car. As she passed them, Karen snapped, "This isn't over. I'll sue you. The officer cut her off. "Ma'am, I suggest you stop talking." James tilted his head. "Huh. Doesn't look like you're in a position to sue anyone, Karen." Lisa crossed her arms. "Good luck running a fake HOA from a jail cell." Karen's face twisted in rage, but she had nothing left. She was done. As the cruiser pulled away, James turned to Lisa. "So? Think we'll get a normal neighborhood now?" Lisa laughed. "Anything's better than Queen Karen's reign of terror." For the first time in months, their home felt peaceful. Karen was gone. And justice? Served. The neighborhood felt different. The morning after Karen's arrest, for months, she had ruled over them with fear and intimidation, weaponizing fake fines and threats. But now, her house sat empty. No more condescending letters taped to doors. No more fake violation notices. No more sneering glances as she patrolled the street like a self-appointed dictator. Karen was gone. James stood in his driveway sipping his coffee as he scrolled through the latest update. The local news had picked up the story, and the headline was glorious. "Fake HOA president arrested for fraud and harassment." The article detailed everything: the bogus fines, the illegal collections, the years of deception. It even mentioned how some of the former residents had moved away just to escape her relentless intimidation. Lisa peeked over his shoulder and smirked. "Oh, and look at this. Turns out she had been running a similar scam in 2 other neighborhoods before this one." James raised an eyebrow. Wow, she really made a career out of being a menace, but this time she had pushed too far. Thanks to the overwhelming evidence, the fake letters, the video footage, the testimonies from multiple victims, Karen wasn't getting away with it. She was facing multiple charges of fraud, harassment, and even trespassing. The community's response was immediate and loud. Tom R., the neighbor who had unknowingly paid Karen over $3,000 in fake fines, shook his head in disbelief. "I feel so stupid. She had me convinced she had legal power over us." Margaret Thompson, who had been paying HOA fees for years, sighed. "I just wish I had questioned it sooner, but at least she's finally gone." Some people were furious, others were just relieved. But everyone agreed on one thing: they had been living under a con artist's rule, and they were finally free. That night, a few neighbors even gathered for an impromptu celebration. Someone popped open a bottle of champagne. Monica, the mother of 2 who had nearly been forced to repaint her house, raised her glass. "To a Karen-free neighborhood." Laughter and cheers erupted. For the first time since moving in, James felt at peace. Lisa nudged James as they walked back home. "Think she'll try to come back?" James chuckled. "Not a chance. She's got bigger problems now, Like convincing a judge she's not a criminal. Lisa smirked. Well, good luck with that. As James stepped into his house, he took one last look at the street. It felt lighter, like a storm had finally passed. For the first time since moving in, their home was truly theirs. No fake HOA, no more Karen, just peace. And that was the best victory of all. Standing on his porch, James let out a long breath as he looked down the now peaceful street. Karen was gone, the fake HOA was dismantled, and for the first time since moving in, his home actually felt like his own. Lisa joined him, sipping her coffee. You know, I still can't believe she got away with it for so long. James nodded. Yeah, but it's scary how easy it was. People just assumed she had authority because she acted like she did. And that was the real lesson in all of this. Karen's scam worked because people trusted without questioning. She spoke with confidence. She printed official-looking letters. She threatened legal action that never actually existed. And it worked, until someone challenged her. James turned to Lisa. If we had just ignored her and paid the fines, she'd still be running her fake HOA today. Lisa sighed. Makes you wonder how many other neighborhoods have a Karen pulling the same scam. James pulled out his phone and opened a new post. If you ever get a letter from your HOA, don't just assume it's legit. Research it. Ask for legal proof. And most importantly, don't let fear make you a victim. The comment section immediately started filling up. OMG, this happened in my neighborhood too. How do I check if my HOA is real? This is terrifying. Thanks for the warning. James smiled. If even one person avoided getting scammed because of this story, then it was worth it. Lisa stretched and grinned. So, what now? No more fake fines to worry about. No more Karen lurking around. James took a deep breath and smirked. Now, we finally enjoy our home. No more fear. No more battles, just peace. And as the sun set over the now Karen-free neighborhood, James knew one thing for sure. Some victories weren't just about winning. Some were about taking back what was yours. And that was the sweetest victory of all. If you enjoyed this video and want to see the next part, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated. See you in the next one. Your support means the world.